Today, we are dissecting a YouTube video script by Solace Fox titled, "This Finds You Before Sudden Unexpected Changes." It's designed to guide viewers through that disorienting feeling of a major life transition.
This is a heavy piece. It's deeply spiritual, very dense, and it's clearly aimed at someone who, feels like their life is kind of falling apart.
It is, but structurally, it's fighting itself.
Yeah?
The core problem here isn't the message, it's the delivery mechanism. We have a huge pacing issue right out of the gate that I think threatens to kill retention.
Before the 3-minute mark, even.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about the diagnostic loop? I felt this so strongly reading it. The script just spends pages listing symptoms.
Right.
You've got insomnia, vivid dreams, seeing repeating numbers, feeling drained, songs with specific lyrics. It just keeps going.
It just keeps going. And we should probably talk about the psychology of why writers do this, right? Solace Fox is trying to build rapport.
Yeah, validation.
The goal is validation. You want the viewer to nod along and say, yes, that's me, you get me.
Right, and validation is the hook, but there's a tipping point, and I think this script flies right past it. A tipping point where validation becomes, procrastination.
Exactly. The script establishes who the target is almost immediately. I think the line is that strange hum beneath the surface.
Which is a great line.
It's a great line. If I'm that viewer, I'm hooked right there. I know I'm in the right place.
But then it spends the next 5 minutes trying to convince me I'm in the right place. It circles back from internal system signals to hyper-awareness and then to a string of bad luck.
It's making the same point 3 different ways.
It really feels like the writer is insecure, like they don't trust that the audience believes them. It's over-explaining the diagnosis.
Yeah, if I'm waking up at 3 a.m. every night and my life feels hollow, I do not need a 5-minute list of symptoms to prove I'm uncomfortable.
I know I'm uncomfortable.
I know I'm uncomfortable. I clicked on the video because I want the solution.
Precisely. This is a classic retention trap. You have them on the line, but instead of reeling them in, you just keep pointing at the fish.
So the fix here has to be condensate. We have to respect the viewer's intelligence and just get to the central thesis much faster.
Which is that these aren't random events. They're a recalibration.
Right.
So how do we chop this down? Without making it feel cold. Because that list of symptoms, it does create an emotional atmosphere.
You combine the category. Right now, physical symptoms like the 3 a.m. wake-up calls are in one bucket.
And then the environmental shifts, the hollow conversations, are in another.
You just merge them. Frame it as the internal and the external world shifting in unison.
Okay, that makes sense. And there's actually a tool for that already in the script. It's just buried.
The radio frequency metaphor.
The static idea. Yeah, it shows up way in the middle of the script right now.
Move it right to the front. Use it as the organizing principle for all the symptoms, right away.
That actually solves the why instantly. If you say you're between stations, then the static, the insomnia, the irritation, all of it makes sense at the same time.
You don't have to list them separate, right? It becomes a narrative, not a checklist.
Something like, just like static between radio stations, you might feel physical exhaustion and social irritation simultaneously.
These aren't separate problems. They're the same signal interference.
That is so much tighter. It respects the viewer. It moves them from, am I crazy, to, oh, I'm recalibrating in, 30 seconds?
Yeah, and that gets them ready for the analysis. But this is where we hit the second major friction point.
Okay.
Once we get past that diagnosis, the script offers a very specific and, I think, frankly, a slightly dangerous interpretation of why bad things are happening.
You mean the whole redirection theory? The idea that every piece of bad luck, broken phone, canceled plans, losing a job, is actually the universe protecting you.
The universe isn't blocking, it's clearing the path.
It's a comforting thought. It's the brand promise, right?
It is, but the execution here it lacks any nuance. So much so that it borders on toxic positivity.
I see that, yeah. It's framing all negative experiences as these mystical signs of progress.
And that's the trap. If you tell a vulnerable viewer that everything is a sign, you're basically disabling their critical thinking. You're asking them to just surrender their discernment.
It almost risks gaslighting them. Let's say someone's watching this because they just got fired. If the reason they got fired is, the economy or bad management.
Or even their own performance.
Yeah, telling them it's just the universe clearing the path feels so dismissive. It invalidates the real struggle.
It strips their agency away. It makes them a passenger. So if we want this script to actually help people, we need to introduce what I call constructive skepticism.
That sounds counterintuitive for a spiritual script. Wouldn't that sort of break the spell?
I don't think so. Not if you frame it correctly. Grounding the magic actually makes it more trustworthy, not less. We need to acknowledge the other explanation.
So it's not blind faith, it's active interpretation.
Exact. Take the section on friends falling away. The script frames it as this sudden realization that the friend is toxic.
Right, that you've outgrown them.
But maybe the listener is just changed. Maybe the listener is the one who's different now.
That's a huge distinction. If I'm going through a massive transition, I'm the variable. Acknowledging that just adds a layer of maturity to the whole thing.
And we need a reality check clause for the bad luck stuff. We have to help them tell the difference between random chaos and an actual pattern.
I like that. Pattern recognition. That feels actionable.
Sometimes a flat tire is just a flat tire.
Right. But if every time you drive toward a specific goal, the car breaks down,
That is a pattern worth noting.
that's strong. It turns the viewer into an investigator. They stop being a victim of the universe or this passive recipient of blessings, and they become an analyst of their own data.
It moves them from passive to active, and that is the golden thread we need to pull through this entire rewrite. The current draft treats the viewer like a subject. We want them to be the surgeon.
Which segues perfectly into the how-to section, because if we're asking them to be the surgeon, we need to give them better scalpels.
The current advice is, it's fine, it's standard. Stop pretending, create space, pay attention to energy, document. The headers are solid.
But the examples? Oh my God, they are so generic. Don't go to networking events. Stop making fake conversation at dinner parties.
It feels very 2015, doesn't it?
So low stakes. It's like Introvert 101. The person watching this video is in a sudden, unexpected change. Their world is shaking. Their problem is not small talk at a mixer.
No, not at all. If I'm going through a divorce or a career pivot, I don't care about a networking event. I care about how to talk to my mother who doesn't get why I'm quitting my law degree.
Yes, that's it. We have to elevate the examples to match the intensity of the intro. We need high-stakes conflict.
So for create space, instead of skipping a party, let's talk about the friction of saying no to a big family obligation.
Or a project that looks good on paper.
Yes. The script mentions courage later on. Let's use examples that actually require courage. Turning down a project that pays well but feels viscerally wrong. That's scary. That's creating space with real consequences.
Okay, and what about stop pretending? The script says to just tell people, I'm in transition when they ask how you are.
Which is beautiful advice for a close friend.
And terrible advice for workplace.
Absolutely terrible. You can't walk into a board meeting and tell your boss, oh, I'm in transition, just leave me alone.
You'll get fired.
Yeah, you'll get fired. So the script means to offer a professional workaround. It has to acknowledge that vulnerability isn't always safe.
So maybe the advice is more about setting boundaries on your time instead of explaining your emotions?
It's about protecting your energy without exposing the wound. That's a much more sophisticated piece of advice.
Okay, now the documenting point. This is the one that frustrated me the most.
Me too.
The script says collect data, but not in a diary way, and then it just stops.
It just leaves you hanging. Collect data. Sounds like homework. It's so vague.
It's a chore. We need a framework, a specific tool.
What about an energy audit? I've seen this in high-performance coaching, but it would fit perfectly here.
Walk me through that.
It turns that vague idea of observation into something concrete, like a spreadsheet. You take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle.
Okay.
Left column, depleter. Right column, expand. For 1 week, every interaction, every task, every person, you put them in a column.
Oh, that is infinitely better. It's binary. It cuts right through the confusion.
And it forces you to confront the reality of your life in black and white. Oh, talking to this specific friend puts me in the depleter column every single time.
You can't ignore that data.
You can't. It transforms the advice from pay attention to perform this audit. It gives them a task to do the second the video ends. That's value.
And again, it reinforces that whole theme of active participation. You're not just feeling vibes, you are auditing your own existence.
Speaking of which, we have to address the image. Solace Fox loves a metaphor.
The script is dripping with them, but I have a feeling I know which one is on the chopping block. The butterfly?
The butterfly has to go.
I knew it. Look, I get it. It's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason, right? It's a universal symbol for transformation.
It is, but I think it actually undermines the script's own logic. Think about it. What does a caterpillar do?
It spins a cocoon.
And melts.
It dissolves into goo. Biology takes over. It is a completely passive process. That is a good point. The caterpillar doesn't make choices. It doesn't audit its energy or set boundaries.
It just sits there. But this script is asking the viewer to make hard choices. to cancel plans, to cut off friends. You can't do that if you're a melting bug. The metaphor fights the message.
Oh, you've sold me. The imagery needs to be active. So what replaces the butterfly?
We need something that implies structure and effort and temporary chaos.
What about a home renovation? Renovating a house while you are still living in it.
That hits the nail on the head. Think about that. It's loud. It's dusty. You can't use the kitchen. It's incredibly inconvenient.
And it looks like destruction halfway through. If you walk in, it looks like a disaster. But there's a plan?
Exactly. And most importantly, you are the architect. You're the one swinging the sledgehammer. It frames the disorientation not as some mystical fog, but as construction debris.
That is so visceral. It explains the discomfort without pathologizing it. You feel bad because you're knocking down a wall, not because the stars are aligning.
And we can carry that modernization through the other metaphors too. The radio frequency, we said move it to the front, but we should probably update it.
It is a bit analog, isn't it? Tuning a dial.
Let's go digital. Think about an operating system update.
Oh, I like that. When you update your OS, what happens?
Your old apps crash.
Yeah, they don't crash because they're bad or evil. They crash because they're incompatible with the new architecture.
That is a perfect way to explain growing apart from friends or losing interest in old hobbies. They're just legacy software.
It removes all the guilt. You don't have to vilify your old life. It's just incompatible code. And it ties back to the technology breaks point from the beginning.
It makes the whole script feel cohesive. And finally, that phrase, the universe leaves breadcrumbs.
Hansel and Gretel, it feels like a fairy tale, a little soft.
We want urgent. We want structure.
What about structural stress fractures?
Yes. Instead of breadcrumbs, look for look for system alerts.
That raises the stakes immediately. You can ignore breadcrumbs. You cannot ignore a stress fracture in the bridge you're standing on.
It shifts the tone from magical mystery tour to urgent structural integrity. And if you're going through a life crisis, that's what it feels like. The ground is breaking. We need language that matches that intensity.
You know, when we put all this together, the condensed diagnosis, the skepticism, the audit, the renovation metaphor, it really changes the profile of the content.
It stops being a they're there video and starts being a here's the plan video.
It moves from a lullaby to a pep talk.
And that is what this audience needs. They don't need to be lulled to sleep. They need to be woken up to their own agency.
So to recap for Soulless Fox and for our listeners, here's the blueprint for the rewrite.
First, fix the pacing. Stop selling the diagnosis. Use that radiostatic metaphor right at the top to group the symptoms and get to the solution faster.
Second, ground the magic. Don't tell them every flat tire is a blessing. Introduce that constructive skepticism so they can distinguish between random noise and a meaningful pattern.
Third, sharpen the advice. Ditch the networking events. Give them high-stakes examples, like Family Bound, and replace that vague data collection with the specific energy audit framework.
And finally, refresh the metaphors. Retire the passive butterfly. Bring in the active renovation. Make the imagery work as hard as the advice does.
It's a complete overhaul, but the heart of the piece is still there. We're just clearing away the construction debris so the viewer can actually see the new structure.
I would love to see the comments on that new version. I feel like the energy audit alone is going to drive a ton of engagement.
Soulless Fox, the draft is in your hands. Apply these lenses, tighten the screws, and please let us know how the next version lands.
Can't wait to see it.
Keep challenging yourself to be better. We'll see you next time.